The CFTC just made a major announcement that's going to revolutionize the crypto market going forward. What is this? Well, they just released something called the Digital Asset Pilot Program. We're going to talk about that, and then we're also going to discuss what JP Morgan, Jamie Dimon had to say about tokenization, and what are the major banks doing meeting with Congress and the Clarity Act. We're going to discuss that. There's also news stories coming out that BlackRock and Bitwise have released new ETFs. We're going to touch on that as well. Don't go anywhere. Let's go ahead and dive into these news stories. Okay, so the CFTC has just announced a digital asset pilot program. This is going to allow people to hold Bitcoin and Ethereum and USDC. But let's explain what that means. But before we dive into that, let's read what she had to say. This is Caroline D. Pham on X, what her announcement was on December 8th, 2025. So right here from Caroline D. Pham's X account, we have, I'm launching a digital assets pilot program for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and USDC that will protect Americans under U.S. rules when you use CFTC's brokers to keep your crypto safe. A new guidance will enable tokenized markets, and we're cutting red tape that's outdated onwards. So what's interesting about this is she has been kind of dropping hints lately, and you may have seen this one floating around. This is Caroline saying lock in. I think she knew this was coming. What's more interesting is she used the phrase lock in. That's something that Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple, typically will say when there's big news stories coming up. And what's more interesting, she also tagged Ripple in a follow-up to her post. So let's read that. It says, at Ripple, the CFTC's actions mark a pivotal moment for integrating digital assets into regulated derivatives market. This step will unlock greater capital efficiency and solidify U.S. leadership in financial innovation. So I find it also more interesting that this comes on the heels of the Abu Dhabi Financial Week. If you don't know what that is, I touched on it right here in this video. There's going to be it's happening December 8th, 2025, and it's a group of billionaires and major banks like BlackRock, DTCC, Coinbase. It's a huge event, and we are already seeing the unfolding from this event. We have now Caroline releasing this. There's so much more stories I could talk to you guys about, but I cannot consolidate that into one video. But check out the Abu Dhabi Financial Week and just take a look at the agenda and just take a look at the speakers so you fully understand how massive this event is. They are getting ready for something big. And like I said, we are already seeing that unfolding because right behind the heels of that, we have BlackRock and Bitwise and major banks talking about they're going to meet with Congress. So let's keep going on and let's explain what this really means as far as the CFTC's new announcement. This is going to come from Max Avery. He is with Digital Ascension Group. You may have heard that because that is Jake Claver's company as well. But this is going to be a repost from Eleanor Terrett of Crypto in America. I'm sure you've heard of her by now. So let's go ahead and read what Max had to say about this new digital assets pilot program and what this means and how it works. It's going to be a little bit lengthy to read. I will do my best not to jumble these words up. As you guys know, it's been around for a while. I am dyslexic. I will try my best, but we're still out here doing it, right? So let's go ahead and read what he had to say about this so you have a better understanding of how this is going to be impactful. So from Max, it says, this is a big deal. When you trade derivatives, futures, and swaps, you have to post collateral. This is called margin. Traditionally, that means cash or treasury securities. The CFTC just said, okay, you can now post Bitcoin, Ethereum, or USDC instead. If you're an institutional trader with a bunch of Bitcoin on your balance sheet, you previously had to sell it or park it somewhere unless while you put up separate cash for your derivatives position. Now you can use the Bitcoin itself. This capital efficiency in the most literal sense. As you see, I'm already having problems going through that. That's okay. But essentially, we are now getting the green light from the CFTC to put up crypto, and it's only going to be Bitcoin, Ethereum, and USDC that they can put that up. But let's keep reading on and see how else this is going to be impactful and how else does this matter. It says that the guidance also covers tokenized real-world assets like treasury securities and money market funds. This means if someone takes a treasury bond and represents it as a token on a blockchain, the CFTC is now saying that you can work as collateral too. This matters because tokenized assets can settle instantly 24/7. Traditionally, securities settlement is this clunky T+1 or T+2 process that only works during business hours. One of the structural problems with using crypto in traditional finance has been the mismatch between crypto, which never sleeps, and traditional markets, which close for the weekends and holidays. So essentially, a T+1 or T+2 is a transaction period. So it's a day or 2 days, essentially. How long is this taken to get done? And as you pointed out, between the traditional banks and then now the crypto market coming up, crypto is 24/7 instant. The old market is slow, clunky, and timely. So when you work in bankers hours, 9 to 5, you're off on weekends, you're off on every holiday they can stuff into a calendar. That slows down money. And if you're an investor, you want access to move your money around because news travels 24/7. So the ability to change your investments should travel 24/7 as well. And that's an unlock that crypto is doing. And that's an unlock that the CFTC just allowed with this process. Let's keep reading on further so you have a better understanding what he's talking about. It says if you margin it is in crypto and can settle instantly, you can actually manage risk and the clock instead of sweating through the weekends, hoping nothing blows up before Monday. The CFTC withdrew Staff Advisory 2034 from 2020, which put restrictions on accepting virtual currencies as customer collateral. This was basically go slow guidance for a more skeptical era. They're saying the Genius Act made it obsolete. For the first 3 months, FCMs, which are the firms that actually handle customer funds in futures markets, are limited to Bitcoin, Ethereum, and USDC only. They have to report weekly on how much they're holding. They have to notify the CFTC immediately if anything goes wrong. This is the CFTC doing what regulators should do, allowing something new while keeping a close eye on it. I consider the CFTC basically saying, we want this business happening on US regulated platforms where we can see it and customers have protection, not offshore platforms where people get wrecked and things go sideways. So, as you know, we are trying to bring crypto to America. I know I have a lot of people from Australia and from the UK, which I know the UK, you guys are feeling the crunch, right? From what the UK has been slowly finally adopting the crypto and giving you guys a much harder pushback on this, especially because you guys are holding the CBDCs instead of stablecoins. But I think we're starting to see the EU finally lighten up a little bit. So hopefully there's light at the end of the tunnel for you guys. But okay, so talking about the CFTC and the digital asset pilot program. So now we have the ability to bring crypto into the finance world even further. This is giving us more access and more exposure to Wall Street. This is going to be a big deal. And we are seeing that already unfolding as we move into this next story here, which is going to be about JP Morgan and what Jamie Dimon had to say. But before we go into that, please hit that like button, subscribe, leave a comment if you like this style information. If you've been around for a while, you know I do deeper dives into the actual crypto projects themselves and bring you this. I really do need your help on these kind of stories because they don't go as far as they should. So if you like it, please hit that like button. It would be very much appreciated. And thank you to everybody that has subscribed and hung out for a while. I know some of you guys have been here since my very first awkward videos. So thank you very much for hanging out. It is truly appreciated that you guys are supporting this channel. It means the world to me. It really does. So thank you. So let's move on and read these stories. I'm going to speed up because we're 8 minutes in. So let's go ahead and read a little bit further. It says from Cointelegraph that today JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon says, we've always been using technology to do a better job for clients, and we're going to do the same thing in tokenization. Tokenization, blockchain are real. So JP Morgan, Jamie Dimon, the same person that's telling you to run from Bitcoin, it's terrible, it's fake, it's a scam, is now embracing and telling you it's new and it's the whole change, as if that wasn't the plan all along. That's what I want you to understand is they already knew what the plan was. They pushed everybody away on purpose. So really understand that, okay? But let's read on. Let's see what the big banks like Citi, Bank of America, and Wells Fargo are up to. So this is from Cointelegraph as well. It says latest. Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and Citigroup CEOs are set to meet with senators Thursday to discuss crypto market regulation per Bloomberg. So we have Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Citi sitting down with the Senate to discuss Crypto Clarity Act, and we're expecting the Clarity Act to be passed pretty early on into 2026. This is just another step forward. Think about it. We had the CFTC approving the digital assets pilot program, and now we had these major bank institutions CEOs directly going to Senate to discuss this. But what else is happening as this is all unfolding is we're hearing BlackRock getting a little bit louder. We have Larry Fink getting into Coinbase, taking a picture with Brian Armstrong. We have them stepping up, saying tokenization is the way forward. RWAs are real. This is the new process. And now we have again from Cointelegraph, this came out on December 8th as well, 2025. It says latest, BlackRock submitted a filing for a staked Ethereum ETF. So think about this timing of this. You tell me down in the comments, do you think that this is a coincidence that we have Abu Dhabi Financial Week where all the billionaires are rubbing elbows together? We have the DTCC there, BNY Mellon, Franklin Templeton, BlackRock's there. All the major institutions are there with all the major crypto companies. And as that takes off December 8th, 2025, we then hear things from Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse, CFTC, BlackRock, the Senate, Bitwise. There's so much information flooding out. And think about the timing of this. Companies don't move that fast where they can get a news stories a day before and then just have a filing ready and approved and ready to go. This is all a bigger plan and a set plan. It's very timely. It's our job to figure out the pieces of the puzzle and do our best to put that together. Because as we see that unfold, we can then move our investments around as needed to have the best benefit for us and our families, right? That's the goal here when sharing these news stories, is so y'all can have better awareness of what's really happening outside of just the crypto projects and just what that company may be doing. We have to follow what the rest of the world's truly doing, especially when we have regulators like the CFTC, the SEC, and our Congress. We need to keep up to date with what they're doing so we can better position ourselves. Okay. But let's keep going, because that's huge in itself. Ethereum staked from BlackRock. BlackRock has given that signal, we're in crypto 100%. We're going to offer staking, right? But what's also interesting is that we have from Eleanor Tourette, this actually came out December 9th, 2025, which this is huge in itself. It's just showing you that we are getting closer to this adoption, as we've been saying for a while. So from Eleanor, you'll see on your screen here, it says new Bitwise investment, 10 crypto index fund uplisted and began trading on NYSE Arca as an ETF today after being held up for a time by the SEC. The fund includes exposures to Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, Cardano, Link, Litecoin, Sui, Ava, and DOT. So that is a major list, all linked together. So if you want a hint in what to invest in, of course, never is this financial advice, but if they are doing something like that mixed in with Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, ADA, Link, what have you, that might be some projects to look at if you haven't done so yet. So I could keep going on for so much longer about all these news stories that are flooding out right now, but it's already almost 13 minutes. I'm not going to do that to you. But hopefully you enjoyed some of this information. I hope that you're going to use this information to go study further and make sure that you have your assets parked, because I think we're about to see some things light up here soon. But don't get surprised when you start seeing the roller coaster in the market. You're going to have some highs, you're going to have some lows. They're going to shake out people again, as they have been doing since October 10th. Get ready for it. Just stay educated, stay following news stories, because if you want to have a successful future in this, you have to be patient and you have to be educated. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the like button, comment, and share, subscribe, all those things, because it is super crucial. That interaction with the video is how YouTube pushes this out. It is huge if y'all could do that. That's all I have for you in this video. But as always, take care of yourself, take care of the people around you, and become that change you want to see. I'll see you on the next one.